The game is on, or it will be in a few. We have Dragonshire as our map between Fnatic and TSM, Team Sandwich Monkeys. So kind of the mixed team with ADRD, BKB, and a lot of other familiar names. So Fnatic, of course, one of the best teams currently in Europe, and that's where the Sandwich Monkeys have to really prove themselves here at the end of the storm now today. So we're going to start with the first pick, first ban for Fnatic in this case. Once again, of course, we're like the entire draft, or huge parts of the draft, are centering around Kel'Thas and Tyrande. Even if we don't have them banned, but like an ETS or an Uther ban, in the back of the players' heads it's always like, okay, we ban out this, then they have the opportunity to take one of the two, we get the other one, they can ban one out, we can claim a Kel'Thas, we can play a Tyrande. You're trying to just like draft in a way that takes potential combos away from your opponent. ETC, for example, banned out, allows now Fnatic to go into a Tyrande, but then again we could see TSM straight with a Muradin pick, which would force Fnatic, if they want to really just like capitalize on that Tyrande, into a composition with the Diablo, since Muradin, ETC, and Diablo are the three tanks that you can really combo off with the Tyrande. So there's a lot of mind games actually going into these drafts right now. Like, the more heroes Blizzard adds, the more patches come out, the more balanced the game becomes, the more combos are viable, and oftentimes it centers, of course, again, around the same heroes at the start of the draft, but then towards the end it's really where everything starts to branch out quite a bit and where you can start to get your pocket picks in. But first of all, you need a solid foundation, and that's what we're currently seeing again. Fnatic deciding even to go into a Falstad here. Now, that is also pretty incredible, because it allows TSM now to play Tyrande if they want her, and they can combo her off with a Muradin, for example. So that would be a very, very cool start. It would allow Fnatic, on the other hand, then to go into an Uther, plus also the potential Sonya, which Fnatic has been playing a lot. They love their Falstad, they love their Sonya, and with an Uther you have, of course, quite that potential then at the front line. They could also go into that Jaina that Maynard prefers to play when he doesn't get his hands on Kel'Thas. They have the Thrall option. So there's so many things and so many combo options of what you could see now that TSM has to really think about it. Do we actually pick Muradin right now? Yes, of course, it's extremely powerful with Tyrande. We're going to get the super monster burst down comp, but then we allow Fnatic to get really solid picks on their own. And Fnatic has actually changed the lineup again. They played with Shad for a long time. Then Shad left the team, and they played with Sypho, and now they are actually playing with Wooby lately. And they already stated in the past that especially like the drafting or the input that Wooby gives for the drafts are switching things up for them quite nicely. And that's why TSM takes Thrall. So in this case, you can really see how this works out. Like just a few weeks back, we would have actually seen a Muradin here. And right now, they are just like looking at this and like, okay, if we pick a Muradin right now, then they go into the Thrall most likely with an Uther. We have to do something here. Now they go into the Thrall themselves. They have a Tyrande as an option. They can try to lock down with the Frostwolf and then go straight into Tyrande with the extra stun. And Fnatic, they react by taking Muradin away and have now an opportunity to go into a Sonya, to go into an Uther. So they have quite a few things that they can do. And they decide to go for the Uther option to just make sure that TCM does not get Thrall with a Divine Shield. So as I said in the beginning, a lot of really, really cool mind games going on between the teams right now. And just thinking about how do we destroy their combos with securing something for ourselves that we can use then to take them down and get an advantage into the game. And Sonya is also immediately banned out because TCM, of course, realizes that Fnatic really loves to play the hero. And as already Uther is locked down for Fnatic, you want to make sure that they don't get the option to play one of these bruisers or melee assassins. So that's exactly what TCM is currently trying to opt for here. They also have the next two picks, and that's where Fnatic now has to think about, okay, how are we actually going to react to this? And they could ban out a Diablo. Diablo is still, of course, one of the heroes that you might be a bit afraid of, since TCM can use it together with the Tyrande, just roam around and get that, and there is the Diablo ban. So pretty awesome to see that. I'm loving this draft already. There's so many cool mind games happening at this point. It's really just a pleasure to see this. TCM, they have a lot of options now. Oh, Rancor with a resub. Dude, 13 months. Thank you very much. That's support right there. Thank you for that. But as I was about to say, Zagara could, for example, be used on this map. I mean, she is extremely powerful here. You could put her up to the top lane. She would be a great hero to just, like, lock that lane down. They want to have a bit of extra support for Thrall, though, first, and that's where TSaM then comes in play. So they say Tyranna's not going to be enough to really keep Thrall alive during these fights. He has his own stacks and his own, of course, like sustain, but we need something else, and that's where the Shield of TSaM is going to help. And of course the Leeching Plasma is another great option that they have here. If they don't want to pick Zagara, by the way, That would be a pretty cool move as well. But it's likely that TSM is playing it either with the Zagara, maybe with the Sylvanas. The two heroes serve very similar purposes, but of course the team fight is a little bit different. Whereas Zagara is trying to either cover the retreat, or just like sections of a couple of heroes, or prepares a wombo combo. Sylvanas is more about just like silencing and really going to jump into the opponent and then use that silence and take a huge advantage from that. Also, there's no frontliner for TSM yet, so they need to think about what they want to run as a frontliner, and a Johanna could be what they go for. First, they pick Jaina, and as I said before, Fnatic is oftentimes running Mena on either Kel'Thas, Jaina, or even on Thrall, so in this case, Jaina is now also picked away. So TSM is playing this with a style where they are saying, okay, we're going to pick the Jaina over the Zagara, so we don't have that lane pressure up at the top, but we have somebody that can really combo off with Tyrande a bit more, get that damage in. Thrall can help out there, and we also have the Tacit around. There's a lot of AoE, so even if Zagara is now picked by Fnatic, we have TSM still with the AoE that they can put up on the top lane to make sure that Zagara is not going to get too much control. And Tacita himself, for example, can also, if he doesn't go into Leeching Plasma, use the Mental Acuity, cooldown reduction, of course, on level 4 then, for his Oracle, take those creep tumors out, and then they have another like great tool to make sure that Fnatic's draft is not going to completely get out of hand. So these are things that Fnatic have to think about now. They have to think about, hey, is it still worth for us to take that Zagara at the top lane? Do we want to play her here? And yes, they do. She is still amazing. No matter how much you have against you in this case, against the creep tumors, she is still extremely powerful here. So they go for the Zagara up at the top. And this is something that TSM could have done as well, right? They just decided that it's better for them to take Jaina away from Fnatic, play her themselves, have that damage there, and make sure that Fnatic doesn't get their hands on it. So once again, just like trying to weigh the options. Is it really the best thing for us to like pick a hero now when we leave others for our opponent's team that are just very strong and that they are traditionally strong with? Fnatic now has 2 damage dealers. They have a Falsa, they have a Zagara. They can play this with even more. They could theoretically jump into something like a Vala, for example. But we could also see another frontliner, which would reduce the options that TSM have now. A hero that you oftentimes see on this map as well is Leoric. And there we have him. Leoric taken for Fnatic. I like it. TSM, I would probably like a Johanna here, to be honest with you. I mean, that Condemn can be quite nice if you have that Jaina then, if you have all that AoE, if you also, you can try use it with the Trana stun. In Nubarak, you're not going to play him solo. An Arthas is very slow in the way that he progresses into a fight, so oftentimes that's not the case, and it is Johanna is being picked. I suppose you could play this with an Arthas as well, and just like try to lead with Thrall moving in, and then Arthas just follows and locks the target down even more, maybe after a Sundering, for example, if you use that as a flank with Thrall for an engage, so that you could have used, but I like, as I said before, that Johanna pick quite a lot. I would have gone for the same choice here. So TSM and Fnatic with very, very cool drafts for a pretty awesome game that we're going to see now. So Dragonshire, guys, coming up next year at the end of the Storm Europe qualifier. Welcome everybody to our game between TSM and Fnatic. Fnatic is going up against the Sandwich Monkeys today, and we have to the left side Fnatic themselves with Breeze on Leoric. We currently have Smexy Style on Uther, Booby on Zagara, Quacknix on Muradin, and Falstad is played by Mena. To the right side of the map, the TSM, Team Sandwich Monkeys with Sport Billy on Tyrande, former Rocket player, of course, BKB, former Virtus Pro player on Johanna. We have Stür playing on Jaina, ADRD on Tacita. He recently played for, of course, quite a few teams, Gamers2, aka G2 Esports, and Dignitas, some of them. And Snow is playing Thrall. He's been around for a long time as well. And, well, let's check that out. We're using today also the interface that Blizzard actually provided now for everybody. This is the BlizzCon interface that is being used here. Has a couple of disadvantages, unfortunately, over the normal RDUI, but looks a little bit more polished, so we're going to give it a shot. And let's see how that's going to work out. Comments are always welcome, how you like it. For now, though, we have currently at the bot lane that snipe against one of the towers. And that is one of the things that is very, very common in general now. The teams are attempting to just like go for a bit of a tower snipe. If you're going up against Zagara, oftentimes the teams meet up here at the top because Zagara is, of course, very eager to place down these 3 or 4 tumors right there to get the vision so that it's not a problem for her to stay alive during the game. It's all about like seeing those ganks coming, and that's why teams are oftentimes trying to rush there to get those creep tumors in, and the opponent's team is trying to deny that. That's why we had a lot of the players for Team Fnatic up at the top, and that's of course one of the things that TSM immediately tried to exploit by moving down to the bot lane, sniping one of the towers, getting a slight lead in experience here, and they're still keeping that rotation up between the mid and the bot lane. That helps them, thanks to the usage of Snow going straight into Seasoned Marksman. He himself is not part of the rotations though, so the only heroes that really capitalize on it are currently the two Conjurer's Pursuit heroes, Jaina and also Tacita. Tacita would be a great hero at the top lane as well, going up against Sigara here, since he has some AoE and also the vision on the creep tumors with his potential mental acuity on level 4, but at least the Oracle either way. We're having a double support now for TSM, and we're currently also saying now Falstad with Seasoned Marksman. We're having Reanimation taken, Conjurer's Pursuit for Uther. Zagara is of course going into the Reconstitution, and the teams are just like rotating on the map, trying to get a couple of these shrines going, and so far it is looking actually pretty sweet. For now, in the mid lane, still quite a bit of pressure here. Quacknix and Breeze are trying to control this as much as they can. They're playing a double tank combo, with especially Leoric, of course, trying to provide some additional wave clear. Also, both of the shrines now under the control of Fnatic. But, well, the Sandwich Monkeys with Snow up at the top. We're having down to the bot lane, and the temple is attempted to take, but so far they couldn't really make that happen. Mena had to move away there, did that in the last second, so job well done. Breeze, of course, in the mid lane attempting to get the Dragonite, but, well, BKB was always around to make sure that that would happen anytime soon. When it comes to the builds, we're having now the Eternal Retaliation taken for Johanna, which basically means massive cooldown reduction if you go up against waves. It's so cool, especially when you are fighting. In a battle, you can get one condemn off after another, and if you totally want to overdo it with that, then you go also into the battle momentum on level 7. But oftentimes we are seeing, we're still seeing like also Conviction being used for the additional movement speed, which is pretty nice as well. Leeching Plasma on Tacita now, no mental acuity. You have a Thrall in your team, so it makes total sense to go into the Leeching Plasma. You could have gone into mental acuity on Tacita here instead if you're really worried about the creep tumors. And let's face it, that's a pretty decent creep tumor spread that we see from Whoopi up at the top. Down to the bot lane on the other hand, yeah, well, Jaina was taken out. Apparently the Ice Mage was showing one of the Fnatic players the cold shoulder, and he didn't like that too much. Quacknix here with another attempt to like stun somebody out. Maybe they can push ADRD back, but Leoric is now also moving in, trying to help out here. As up at the top lane, we have Whoopi and Snow still fighting against each other there, and Snow so far is actually losing that battle against all those Hydras in particular. Another attempt for the Dragonite, as we see both shrines under the control of Fnatic. The teams are heading into level 7. We're having Snowstorm taken on level 4 for Jaina with the extended radius, and also in Venom now, so it is going to be a Wind Fury build that we see for Thrall. And Thrall got some support from Sport Billy up at the top, so they're going to try and claim that shrine as fast as they can, so that there's no threat in the mid lane for the Dragonite. And Quacknix is really trying to channel this one, but he doesn't get it. Both of the shrines now about to be taken by the opponent. Roaches everywhere. Rapid incubation for Whoopi, so he plans to be on that lane for a lot longer. Can go into a lot of split push power now with this one. Has a ton. Oh, nice! Oh, ADRD with a shield. No, the hammer hits him. Tacita down. Great move by Mena. Had no vision there. Just moved in. Of course, kind of knew that the well would be the first target of Tacita, and he takes that shot and claims the kill. Well done here. Leoric for the Ghastly Reach now on level 7, so he did not go into Paralyzing Rage, which we've seen in a few of the last games. But of course, Ghastly Reach still the preferred talent of a lot of these players. Breeze with the attempt to go for the Dragonite. Sport Billy with a stun. They move in again. They try to get a quick kill here, but Styr is really low. Breeze gets the Dragonite, and it looks like Styr might fall, but he is just barely able to get out of there. Great play by Fnatic already. We have Conviction taken on level 7 now by BKB. No battle momentum after the Eternal Retaliation. So he feels like he already has enough cooldown reduction here, and especially, of course, for Condemn, that is true. Kala's Embrace has been taken, and we see Follow Through for Thrall. Now that's an interesting build to take. Normally, when you go for a Seasoned Marksman build, you will see, instead of Follow Through, the first Wind Fury talent taken on level 7. So it's a bit odd to see that they did not go for it. So that's a little bit weird. At the bot lane, we already have another attempt here to push this back. Quacknix, Mena, and Smexy style are taking down a tower and going for the second one. Now, I'm pretty sure that the bug on the level 13 Thrall talent is still there. I might have missed the hotfix, though. I freely admit that. But it was just recently. BKB. Wrong base, dude. Somebody got punted by the Dragonite, and yeah, he's not gonna make it, sorry. So Johanna, unfortunately, finds herself at the wrong side of the wall and goes down. But as I said, said, like, unless I missed the hotfix, then the level 13 talent of Thrall is still bugged out. And basically it means that if you take Grace of Air, then your Wind Fury hits don't really trigger your Frostwolf Resilience anymore, which is quite annoying. But still, going away from the Wind Fury build, if you do that, then you should at least go for the Chain Lightning, I feel. In this case, though, we have a follow-through build. I suppose that you don't really have to. I mean, in overall, follow-through is mostly stacking on the level 16 talent. Everything else is just a bonus in Chain Lightning in particular. Either way, it doesn't matter for Thrall too much, because in this case, he gets ganked by 3 and taken out. But Thrall is just like showcasing again how versatile these builds can be. Vala and Thrall are probably like the 2 heroes where we have the most versatility when it comes to like which builds are really viable, and Thrall currently just like showcasing exactly that. Follow through, of course, you need different mechanics if you go for a follow through build than if you go for simple Wind Fury. So right now it's all about like getting an ability out and then going straight into an auto attack. Oh, ADRD gets actually healed. That was a close call. Tyrande with the Shadow Stalk there. Level 10s for both of the teams by now, of course, available, and that means that we're having on the side of Leoric, as you could see here for the kill earlier, the Entomb taken. And this is actually pretty sweet that Entomb is now being played in Europe a bit more often. Like, for the longest time, Europe just only used March of the Black King and nothing else. Entomb was really frowned upon, but if you look at the Chinese scene and also North America, then Entomb just played quite a bit. Personally, I think that if you're playing a solo Leoric, then going into the March of the Black King makes the most sense, since it gives you a bit of sustain during these fights as well. But with the double warrior setup that we are currently seeing for Fnatic, going into Entomb can definitely secure you a couple of kills in the long run, and that's always worth it. So they currently do that. Europe is switching it up a little bit with those talents again. We have Falstad with the Mighty Gust, Uther of course with the Divine Shield, and they go again for a kill against him. Smaxy style, has to use the Divine Shield for himself, gets body blocked for a bit. Here comes the Entomb against 2 and the Snowman, but no kill to follow that up yet. And of course Breeze has to move away. Nice stun here. Well anticipated, but of course that doesn't help them too much. Up at the top lane, we could see that Shrine taken by Zagara. We still have Whoopi with his rapid incubation, trying to do some serious work here. And of course there was a Bruiser camp that was taken a bit earlier, so he had to deal with that first. But if you look at the experience overall for Fnatic, then it really works out for them that the top lane is still inhabited by Zagara alone. Level 13 talent already for them, and that means Giant Killer for Falstad. That also brings us back into the Thunderstrike for Muradin. Mutalisk for Zagara has been taken now, and we're seeing the Shrink Ray on Uther against Thrall, and also Burning Rage against the Creep Tumors of Zagara. So that's a great talent for Leoric to take, to make sure that they can take a few of these that they could take a few of these Creep Tumors down if Zagara was at the opponent's team. For a second I got a bit confused there. She's of course on the same team, so that's not the reason. It's just like overall nice damage that you have, especially of course since they're running double tank. But yeah, I'm kind of so used to just like watching out for that Burning Rage once that you have a Zagara in the game that I kind of got confused there for a second. My apologies for that. So, that being said though, we have still a lot of creep up at the top. And nice capture also on the Dragon Knight just before the owl hits. I'm still a bit surprised that at no point Tassadar really rotated over to take down a few of these creep tumors, at least a lot, because this is like a perfect place for Whoopi. He has way too much freedom at the top lane, in my opinion, to make sure that he doesn't die to any kind of like roams and ganks, and this is just like a very solid position here overall for them. So once again, we have an attack down to the bot lane. Mene, Quadnix and Smexy style are currently in position here. We're seeing everybody trying to just like defend against the Dragon Knight as much as they can. Zagara at the top is pushing this even more. Whoopi is like setting up creep tumors wherever he can, and of course they had to rotate one hero back, and that is in this case Thrall. So Thrall is going to try and join the fight then later on with the Sundering. It's still in cooldown here. He needs to be careful that he doesn't get taken out by this rotation, because Breeze of course still has that Entomb ready and is just waiting for an opportunity to use it again. And he's already starting to move in here. Down goes that fort, and Fnatic is just really turning up the heat now. Mene went a bit deep though, needs to use the Mighty Gust and is simply jumping away. But yep, that is hitting him a bit too late. But BKB is there, and now everything is in cooldown, and of course he just can dish out a bit of damage, but Mene falling anyways. Had no idea that Johanna was back there, so he just flew back and then suddenly flew right into the arms of Johanna, and of course she's liking that quite a bit. Up to the top lane now, we're seeing Snow and Whoopi still fighting it out, and Whoopi is definitely winning that. Oh, the more! Quadnix is there, and down goes Thrall. Great kill here once again, and level 16 soon reached. Still Falstad with the most damage for the blue team, by the way. 21,000 for him in hero damage. And 14,000 the maximum for Tacita. You can really tell that especially Thrall was not really part of a lot of team fights yet. We didn't really see a lot of team fights. One of the main reasons why actually every hero on the side of the red team has such a low hero damage. They didn't really fight a whole lot. Most of the kills that we saw were just isolated kills somewhere on the map where somebody rotated over and took them down with a gank. It's 5 kills against 1. And Fnatic is just playing a really great game here. They have a level 16 talents now, which gives us once again hammer time for Falstad. We're seeing Stone Form for Muradin. The Brutal Expansion for Zagara, Benediction, and after the Ghastly Reach on level 7, we now have the Renewed Swing on level 16. So great play by Fnatic here, and, well, Sandwich Monkeys are definitely in a bit of trouble here. They're really having some tough time at this point. They try to get level 16 first. It's a very, very strong team, actually. Like, if you consider that they all consist of, like, pro players that we've seen in other competitive teams before, these guys have been doing really well in the last few tournaments that they played, but now they go up against one of the best teams in Europe, and currently Fnatic is just simply outplaying them with the setup that they have. The experience Soak of Zagara alone at the top lane is a big, big problem for them. And all the structures that have been taken out with the 2 dragons that have been captured so far is, of course, making things even worse. Now with level 15.5, that Dragonite could end up again in the hands of Fnatic. If they really try to capitalize on the talent advantage that they currently have, then they could definitely do that. Mena is already there. We're seeing everybody else starting to rotate into the middle again. Quarknix, Maxi Style, they're all just waiting to protect the Dragonite and zone for it. And yep, there we go. Quarknix takes it easily at that, and that's Dragonite number 3 for Fnatic, and they're of course going to try and use that to not only drop one of the... They're going to try and drop both of the forts. They have 2 that they can aim for, and there's the isolation again. Nice ice block here, but that could be the kill. They're all jumping in already, and this is, well, it could actually be Leoric dying. He moving back. Nice more, and in comes BKB. He's trying to condemn them. Very well played here by him. But in this case, it's only the kill against Jaina that was secured from the beginning. No counter kill that we had. So still a pretty nice move here on the side of the Sandwich Monkeys, though. They nearly got that kill off against Leoric and were also close to killing one of the others, but they just didn't have the follow-up damage after, especially after Jaina died, of course. Level 16 talents now. After the Overflowing Light, we see Ranger for Tyrande. We have also them with the Imposing Presence, and we see the Northern Exposure taken. Northern Exposure for Jaina. And on Tacita it will be the Dimensional Warp, whereas Thrall finally, after his follow-through and also his level 13 Giant Killer, started to go now into the Tempest Fury for the additional 3 hits. So his damage output during the fight should actually be pretty significant at this point, with the Venom and everything else that he has to his name. Seasoned Marksman, of course, is going to help with that too. They're attempting to go for a breeze right now in the mid lane. The big problem for the Sandwich Monkeys is still that experience disadvantage. 19 versus 16. Fnatic is running a very, very tight ship here, and there is just absolutely no room for a comeback, at least not at this point. Fnatic is just not doing any major mistakes, and that's exactly what puts them into such a great position right now. Once again, we have the attacks coming in here. There's a rotation happening. It's even talent, so this is the time for the Sandwich Monkeys to fight, and they're trying to do that. But unfortunately for them, they don't hit that stun on Tyrande. So now Quarknix is moving away. Wooby, Mena, and Smexy Style. Everybody is just like getting away again, back onto the lane, soaking experience, trying to put a heartbeat in there. And of course, after half a level, they will get that Storm Talent, and once that hits, then they are in a great position to take the first keep of the game, which is kind of what they have to do. So Tacita is finally trying to use his Oracle-ized approach, but the problem is that Quarknix is there. Nice, nice, jump is already out, use a Stone Form, and goodbye. That was actually a very important kill now. They take down a few of the creep tumors. That is going to limit the vision of Zagara and Fnatic overall even more. So that's already pretty cool. That's kind of what they need here. But they see them rotating now down to the middle of the map, and to the bot lane actually, trying to capture Breeze, which should actually work out. Wraithwalk being used. Nice, Mighty Gust. Sport Billy. These stuns are unfortunately for him not hitting the way that he wants to hit them. Level 20 is going to be so close now, and with level 20 they should be able to get another Dragonite, and this is just like the worst case scenario for team the Sandwich Monkeys. Yep, right now there's the 20, and with that I suppose Nexus Frenzy, unless he wants to go into Epic Mount for Falstad, but Nexus Frenzy should be it. Nope, he goes Epic Mount, he wants the mobility. I guess if you play on Dragonshy, mobility is quite nice. Of course, the damage output thanks to Nexus Frenzy is absolutely out of this world, so it's pretty cool. We have one Bolt of the Storm, a Hardened Shield for Leoric, and we're also seeing a second one for Muradin, who's now finally back to business. Will be up at the top lane, already caught the first Shrine, and now as long as they move down and take the second one, they can go for another Dragonite. And it's still entire level until we are seeing the Sandwich Monkeys back. Breeze is also dying. Oh, good kill. Sundering even wasted by Snow. That was a bit of an overkill there. There's no kill as nice as overkill. But yeah, as is, still. They get the kill. Sundering has a 60-second cooldown. It's not too nasty. I don't think they're going to run into a big fight at this point. Level 20 and Dragonite potentially. The Owl hits. He's channeling again, and they will have to defend against Dragonite number 4. The bot lane is still being pressured though. We have already both of the towers out of ammunition, and there's still that mage, so they can use that to maybe like go through those structures. But over here to the right side of the map, we are seeing the attack now happening, and of course Quacknix is going to try to take down that first keep in the game. But level 20 is now very, very close for the Sandwich Monkeys, and that means that they have an opportunity to fight on even talents once again. All that they need is one kill or the wave. Nice condemn here, trying to save Styr, who didn't even use his Ice Block yet. So well done here. Snow rotates in again, and this is the last wave that they need. They're going to hit 20 now, and there it is. 20 with a double Bolt of the Storm on Jaina and Thrall, and the Dragonite is nearly down. Again, the Ranger is hitting hard. Good job by Tyrande, especially now with the Hunter Swiftness taken as a level 20 talent. Indestructible for Johanna. And we're of course seeing the Force Barrier as well taken for Tarcida himself now. So Stormbolt misses out. Styr actually jumping away with the Bolt of the Storm. Better safe than sorry. That's going to be down for a bit longer. Bot lane still pressured quite heavily. First tower down, second wave coming in. And the top lane is also suffering the same fate, since we saw that camp taken earlier. So Breeze has to move in and try to deal with it. But so far, the Sandwich Monkeys are actually not doing too bad, considering. I mean, 6 kills against 3. They force now also Uther back. Sport Billy with a stun, and the Sundering takes him down. He still has redemption, so he's going to be back. But they try to use that as an opening to jump in and take another kill. Can't really make that happen, and the Auric is already moving in up from the top. Here comes Quacknix, goes in with Muradin also on his avatar. Stormbolt again against Styr. They're trying to save him. Nice Entomb against 3. Here comes the Ice Block, but Jaina, of course, is going to die eventually. Quacknix again attempting to go for another kill. Stormbolt shouldn't be able to hit here, and he's locked down by the Wolf now as well. So for now, it's level 21 versus 20, and this time they are going for keep. This time they move in, this time they want to kill it. We have Fnatic moving in, trying to just secure this, and this is a great opportunity that they have right now. So they go for the kill. They're having Breeze already in a position where he's going to try and deliver the final few shots. Even dodges that stun with a quick Wraith Walk at the end, and that was an important one. Doesn't die to the Owl either. These Ranger Owls really hurt. If Tyrande is far away from you, they hurt. And Quacknix is actually locked down and taken apart now as well. So in a 4 versus 5, they still win that. Main is rushing away now too. Flies away. That epic mount, of course, really coming in handy. And they isolate Uther, and this time he's going to be dead for sure and for good. Well played here. Great Sundering as well, like pushing him into the wall. That was a nice double kill. So the Sandwich Monkeys, they lost the key, but they are not out of this yet, and they are very, very likely to secure themselves now Dragonite, since they, of course, have 2 more heroes on the map, and their shrines are already active. Up at the top, though, Snow has no mana, and a huge problem. So he's getting body blocked by his own teammate for a second, but now BKB and ADRD are back. Styr is also trying to move in. They don't control the top temple yet, or the top shrine, but they are going to try and do exactly that. Talking damage once again, and also, of course, healing. We're having, for now, more heals on Tarcida than on Tyrande, even with everything that she has with Overflowing Light, cooldown reduction, and also the level of 10 and 20 talents. She has less heals than Tarcida, so ADR, they're doing a very solid job with those Karla's Embrace talents. So, yep, we have, for now, actually, well, when we're looking at the damage, 49,000 for Zagara, 44,000 for Thrall. So he's really starting to get a lot of damage in, especially, of course, since he's still in control of that Seasoned Marksman that he took on level 1. Same as, of course, Falstad. They go in for another kill again. Oh, Zagara jumping out, but a bit too late. Dragonite taken, and this is again a 5 versus 4. Fnatic is suddenly, I don't want to say they're on the ropes yet, but they are definitely down for the count now. So, yep, we have already BKB starting to move in at the bot lane. they could theoretically go and try for core if they get a kill here. That's all that they need, seriously. One more kill in this fight right now as the keep is being attacked, and that could mean core. We are already seeing them move in. Fnatic is, of course, extremely aware of that now, too. But they go in for the keep. They were so far ahead. They had a 3-level lead at some point. It was 19-16. And now it is the Sandwich Monkeys. They're starting to make their way in. And they are looking strong here now. They're moving in for the core, actually. They want to finish the game. Zagara is still down for another couple of seconds. The core is losing hit points, and a nice Mighty Gust. Mena is trying to secure the core, but it looks like this might actually be game, ladies and gentlemen. It's looking really bad, and yes, Fnatic loses it. Fnatic loses the game. It is a victory for the Sandwich Monkeys. What a comeback. GG, and well played as the Sandwich Monkeys advance at the end of the Storm qualifier. And that is it, everybody. GG and well played. The game's over, and therefore also the video for today here on KhaldorTV. We had another great Heroes of the Storm match, and I hope that you enjoyed it. Also hope that you enjoyed the commentary, of course. So thank you very much for tuning in today. If you enjoyed the video, make sure that you give it a thumbs up on YouTube. And of course, if you haven't subscribed to KhaldorTV yet, you should definitely hit that sub button as well. If you have some friends that like Heroes of the Storm, then definitely make sure that you show them the channel and also the video. There's a lot more where that came from. We're going to have like continuous content throughout the next few weeks with more Heroes of the Storm matches played, not only on the European server, but also on the North American server, in tournaments, in leagues, and more than that. So guys, once again, thank you very much for tuning in today. I hope that you had some fun. It was a pleasure casting for you. And I'm going to see you next time with even more videos here on the channel. So have a great day and see you soon. Bye-bye.